The second episode of Season 7 of The Clone Wars continues the Bad Batch arc with A Distant Echo. It was another good episode that, again, had some changes to the original story, which I think is great for anyone who watched the animatic story reels from 2015. It's nice to have those surprises. Right off the bat, there's a new fortune cookie for the episode. Originally, it was wars are not won with superior weapons, but with superior strategy. Now, it's the search for truth begins with belief. It's a more personal message for Rex, and if there is one word I could use to sum up all the changes to this story between the real and the final version, it would be that. Personal. When the Bad Batch arc was originally put together, it wasn't with the understanding that it would be in the final season. But now that it's being included in the last 12 episodes of the series, I think the writers wanted to do more to help wrap things up for our characters. The big focus is on Rex, who understandably feels connected with and responsible for Echo's fate. Even though what happened on the Citadel wasn't his fault, the two of them were close, and he wants to believe that there's something he can do to save his friend. He doesn't yet know the truth about whether or not Echo is alive, but the belief that he is drives him. Likewise, Anakin is reminded that he has to believe in his friend. He fears Rex's personal feelings are affecting his judgment, and if that isn't the pot calling the kettle black, I don't know what is. But in a really nice scene, Padme reminds him of how many times Rex has had Anakin's back in similar situations and tells him to have faith. That scene was the biggest change in the episode. It becomes clear that Rex knows Anakin and Padme have a secret relationship. He covers for him when Obi-Wan shows up, and then Obi-Wan himself hints that he knows as well. That's kind of a running joke throughout the series, but this is the most obviously it's ever been stated. It makes sense in the context of Revenge of the Sith, since Obi-Wan does guess the truth, but it also makes it even sadder that Anakin feels he can't talk to his friend about it when his friend definitely already knows and doesn't care enough to make a big thing out of it. That new scene did come at a cost. In the original reel, there is a short moment where we see the Bad Batch has pin-up art of Padme on the nose of their ship, which upsets Anakin, and Rex more subtly implies that he knows about the two of them. It is a funnier and more efficient scene that I liked, but with this being one of the final episodes, it makes more sense to be wrapping things up emotionally as we near the events of Episode 3. The rest of the story plays out mostly the same, with smaller changes here or there. Anakin and the clones head to Skako Minor, where they run into some locals called Poltex. They briefly capture Anakin because they don't want the war brought to their planet, but when they hear about Echo being potentially held prisoner, they agree to lead them to Wat Tambor's facility. Before they break in, there's another scene about Rex and his steadfast belief that his friend is alive, but this time he's challenged by the Bad Batch. Despite their bonding in the first episode, some of them, mainly Crosshair, aren't fully on the same page, but it's Anakin that comforts his friend while also preparing him for the possibility that they might not like what they find at the end of this mission. They break in and fight their way to Echo, and I remember his rescue being grim in the original reels, but the fully animated version is really dark. It's all in the eyes. Seeing Echo's eyes dart around aimlessly as he's plugged into all that stuff is heartbreaking. Last week I talked about how beautiful the animation is in this season, and that's still true, but the flip side of it is that the improvements also make the emotional moments hit even harder. And I really appreciate the emphasis on emotion this episode brought. I recall the original Bad Batch reels being a little more lighthearted and fun. We still get that in scenes where Wrecker is shoulder pressing a gonk droid with one hand while eating a Nuna leg with the other, but a lot of the changes to this story removed the humor in favor of character. Not only do these shifts help keep the story fresh for me, but like I said, it just makes sense for the final season to provide some moments of closure for Rex. Rex will be present in the final arc, of course, but I think the last two arcs are going to focus a lot more on Ahsoka. The Captain has been a major part of the series since the beginning, and it's nice to see him get the spotlight here at the end. I'm continuing to enjoy watching this arc for a second time, especially since I think I can fully expect more changes throughout the final two episodes to keep me on my toes. But what did you think of A Distant Echo? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page, where we're going to be doing audio commentaries for these new episodes as they're released. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.